So there are rumors going around that Sydney Sweeney is desperate for a paycheck because her team has set up a brand deal. She just put out an ad for a men's body wash. It's not a 7-in-1, believe it or not. It's the Dr. Squatch body wash, and she did this 30-second ad calling her clientele dirty little boys.
Should we watch? Are we going to get copyrighted for this? I have no idea. Let's watch it and see what
it's free advertising.
What she has to say. Yeah, she should love this.
Hello, you dirty little boys. Are you interested in my body wash? Well, you can't have it because this isn't for boys. It's for men. This is Dr. Squatch Natural Body Wash. With long-lasting natural aromas like wood barrel bourbon, pine tar, coconut castaway, and fresh falls, you'll finally get the attention you deserve. So go to drsquatch.com today and quit being a dirty little boy.
Look,
it's like the Sabrina Carpenter ad for the hair product where she's like, I'm Sabrina Carpenter and I know a thing or two about a good bang.
In the year 2024, I'm just happy to see such shameless sexualization just thrown right out there. You know, we're in the age of female empowerment and feminism in Hollywood. A little bit of just blatant sexism goes a long way, guys.
Well, the first take I saw was someone asking, who does she owe money to?
Just like, why would she make this ad if she didn't have to? Anybody who's been paying attention to the way she's focused her career trajectory would know that this is actually right on brand for her. If she went out here and did some like female empowerment ad, which is actually not even far off. We were just reading an interview about her and she talks a lot about, you know, being a strong, independent woman who don't need no man. Fine, but that's not her brand. It can be true, but it's not her brand.
One reply said, women who are hot as a career need to save as much money as possible before it stops being a career. Same with men who do sports as a career. But I think Sydney Sweeney would be quite offended to hear that her career is completely based on her looks rather than her acting skills.
Not even her acting. We've talked extensively about the fact that she does a lot behind the scenes, that she seems to be more business oriented than the average younger actress, meaning that she's already started her own production company. She already talked about getting heavily involved with Sony and the marketing department when they were making Madam Web. Granted, you can't fix Madam Web. That's that ship had long since sailed, but she's clearly business minded.
So she's getting compared to Margot Robbie a lot because Margot Robbie also has her own production company. But here's the problem. Margot Robbie is way better at acting than Sydney Sweeney. I think that is the objective truth. Sydney Sweeney has her strengths. But if you've watched Anyone But You, you know exactly what I'm talking about. She just can't deliver a line the way that a Margot Robbie could.
I would, however, like to see an SNL skit where she plays Margot Robbie playing Tanya Harding from I, Tonya.
Maybe this is her bag. Maybe she's okay with doing ads like this, even though it's seen as lowbrow and it's seen as desperate, perhaps.
The male version of this is Tom Selleck selling you a reverse mortgage when he gets older. So
exactly. So recently, Sydney Sweeney was named Woman of the Year by Glamour.
But like multiple people got named Woman of the Year because they had moms as Woman of the Year too?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much anyone can be Woman of the Year, including a non-woman.
This is the commie world of California, Hollywood, where everybody has to win.
We have a 20 from Nate. Who cares? She's going to be offended by the entire planet acknowledging the fact that she's a stone cold fox. It ain't going to last forever, toots. Ain't even a good comeback.
I actually want to push back on that because we do live in the age of modern plastic surgery and fillers, and women in Hollywood are now able to long pass. You know, it's no longer you're done at 25.
Well, it's also just good genetics.
Yes.
You know, if you're attractive when you're young, you're probably going to be attractive when you're older too. But in this interview with Glamour, alongside her sexy photo shoot, Sydney Sweeney delved deep into her difficult childhood and opened up about her family trauma. After watching her family go bankrupt, Sydney said that the fear of losing everything will always be instilled in her. Quote, I come from a family where I saw my parents lose everything, and I am terrified of that. That fear will always be instilled in me.
I mean, that's a very strong driving factor for a lot of people, especially if you did start with much and are left with little.
She's very transparent about money. She said, I'm a huge saver. I don't just go and spend money. I like to invest. I like making hopefully smart choices with the money I'm making, but I don't think I'll ever actually feel comfortable.
In my mind, she's a Bitcoin bro. That's what she is. She's gonna end up at Bitcoin conferences in the next couple of years.
It's a weird feeling when people are like, oh, you're successful. It doesn't feel like that because there's so much more I want to accomplish and achieve, and I feel like I've barely scratched the surface of what I'd like to do with my life. It turns out that body wash commercials are just a stepping stone into her dreams of becoming a powerful executive in Hollywood. So
Look,
more power to her.
I mean, I imagine she has other brand deals. I know I've seen commercials for other stuff that
they
she's
all
done.
do.
Not
all
everybody can do ads for L'Oreal Paris. She's got to do the Sasquatch ads.
Is it that? Is it Sasquatch?
I don't know. It's Dr.
I've never
Squash.
heard of
Dr. Squash.
I've never heard of this brand before.
She'll do
but
Manscaped next. That'll be the next step for her.
Yeah. She also pushed back on rumors that her fiance, Jonathan Davino, is the one footing the bill for her lifestyle. She feels very strongly about being a strong, independent woman, and she doesn't need no man.
Again, I feel like that's off-brand. I feel like she should stay away from that.
She's very ambitious in her own right.
There was just an article the other day where they talked about how when she was at SNL, when she did her episode of SNL, she was practically begging them to do skits about her chest. Mm-hmm. She knows the market cap she has. She knows exactly who's watching her content.
Right.
She's not stupid.
Those rumors came about when Anyone But You was getting produced in Australia because Jonathan Davino, her fiance, was one of the producers on the film.
Yeah.
Despite the rumors of her having a romantic tryst with Glenn Powell, her co-star, that did not happen.
Which perfectly helped sell the movie, which went on to be very successful for a movie of its budget.
It's all a marketing strategy.
Well, nothing's real in Hollywood anymore. In the chat, somebody said, have you looked at Madonna lately? Do you care to retract your statement? Look, just because one is a horror show does not mean that every person... Madonna is just one of many, many hundreds of people in Hollywood that get regular plastic surgery, fillers, all sorts of aesthetic work done to them. And the best of it is done in a way that you don't notice.
And I would say...
which is why they're in their 30s and they don't look like they're in their 30s.
Imagine what Madonna would look like if she hadn't gone overboard with the fillers and the Botox and the plastic surgery. She probably would look great for 60 something, however old she is now. But instead she went down that path because she's mentally disturbed.
Yeah.
There are other examples like, Salma Hayek, for instance.
I always mention Jennifer Beals.
57, looks incredible, looks like she's in her 30s at most.
I always mention Jennifer Beals, who looks like half her age.
Stacey Dash. I mean, there are plenty of examples. It just goes wrong when you forget what you look like. And you basically end up having facial dysmorphia.
That lady's 60.
Yeah, it's almost hard to believe, but most women in Hollywood have the option to age gracefully. I mean, Pamela Anderson too. Even though she gets plenty of hate for how she looks, but you have to give her credit. She didn't go down the Madonna path.
It's because she's now leaning into it as like a marketing ploy. She's like, look at me, I don't wear mascara. I'm so natural now.
She has, but again, she still has taken great care of her health, and she does look good for her age.
And nowadays, like, what was it, 5 years ago was the first time in American history that water was the most popular drink in America outside of soda. Gen Z is now supposedly the most health conscious generation that's ever existed.
I don't know if I buy that.
Despite all the Zins and the vape pens and everything.
Hey, excuse me. Don't counter signal Zins. Don't do that.
Fair enough. The point being that there's infinitely more ways to take better care of yourself now, and when you make that amount of money, there's even more ways. So
right.
I don't have a problem believing that she's going to be able to retain her youthful look for a long, long time.
Now, obviously, on this show, we have praised Sydney Sweeney for not being precious about the way that she is perceived and the way she is sexualized in the media. But also in this same Glamour interview, she talked about the intrusion of paparazzi and how she feels she is deserving of privacy despite having a public job.
Worldwide Privacy Tour, Part 2.
She said, according to Sydney Sweeney, paparazzi recently showed up at her new home in Florida, shouting at her family while they were outside. They said, quote, "If you tell her to just come outside in a bikini, I'll take pictures and then I'll leave you alone." After the photos were released, there was speculation she tipped off paparazzi herself, a claim she strongly refutes.
But it's exactly something that people in Hollywood have done for ages.
And I'm sure they still do. She said, "Why would I call the paparazzi to take pictures of me at my own house when my baby cousins and family are there and I'm in my backyard? Why would I even want that? I have pictures of these guys in kayaks hiding in the bushes in the ocean. They got there at 8 a.m. and wouldn't leave until 4 p.m. I should be able to be in my home and feel comfortable and safe."
Look, they may be scumbags, but they're go-getter scumbags. They get up early. Early bird gets the worm. Early bird gets the bad photo.
Yeah. But do you agree that she should be able to be in her home privately?
I'm going to give you the pragmatic answer, which is that would be great, but that's not how the real world works, unfortunately. Like, there's a lot of things that I would love, but it just doesn't jive with reality. Her level of fame, once you accept that this is the stage that you're going to be playing on, you're going to be in big budget Hollywood blockbusters. You're going to have your name on magazines. You have to put up with invasion of privacy. And this is something that we talked about with Chappell Roan. You want all the benefits of the job, but you want to say, I don't want the drawbacks.
Not the uncomfortable stuff.
It's not a la carte. Sorry.
Sydney Sweeney revealed it's not necessarily the photographers who unsettle her, but the awareness of how easily her location can be uncovered online.
I mean, that is scary, but you know,
especially with family around.
Well, we're going to talk about this more tomorrow with this stuff that's going on with Hollywood and taking control of actors' social media accounts and stuff like that.
Toxic fandoms.
I think the fans have a right to kind of feel like they should be separate from the paparazzi, which is vastly different.
Definitely.
Like, what is worse?
But they can sometimes be even more intrusive.
Like, what's worse? Like, so yeah, this thing,
at least the paparazzi don't think that you have some kind of special connection. They know what they're there for.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.